Today I'm going to show you how to do a deep dish pie shell, and it's pretty simple. I have all my ingredients out right now, which takes a lot of, takes half the time of doing the video, just pulling everything out. So what we're going to start with here is we're going to start with 2 cups of flour, basically all my dry ingredients I'm going to put together. So 2 cups of flour. When you're doing a flour, you want to make sure that you fluff it up. You don't want it to be, just going to hit some of these. Some of these have clumps in here, so I'm just going to break it up a little bit so I can put it in here pretty easily. So 2 cups of flour is what we need. And I'm just going to scoop a little more on there. Just pour it on there. Right. 2 cups. 1. Fluff it up a little bit. 2. Okay. 2 cups of flour. Dry ingredients. 2 cups of flour. We have 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, which I have here. 3 tablespoons, and you want to make sure you pack this really good. 3 good tablespoons of brown sugar. Now, I like to use brown sugar in my pies because, yes, for one, my crust is a little bit darker, but it's a subtle sweetness. It's not too sweet. White sugar is very, very sweet. So I'm using 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then we're going to add our teaspoon of salt. Let's see. 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm using Himalayan salt, which is better for you. That's like 80 some minerals in it. Okay. 1 teaspoon of salt. And I believe that's all my dry ingredients for now. So salt, yep, that's all my dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick mix. Just want those things to be combined really well. And it does make a difference when they say, mix your wet ingredients and your dry ingredients. Those things do make a difference because you want to make sure that your seasonings is all in there. All of your dry ingredients have been mixed, combined really, really well. Okay, that's good enough for me. It's nice and powdery. It's good. Now we're going to start adding the wet stuff, which is a third cup of shortening. I forgot to get my 3rd cup out, but I do have my shortening out. I forgot my measuring. Okay, so I am going to, let's see, just gonna stick this in here. Grab a 3rd cup of shortening. Now this does matter. You can't just use I would not recommend using any type of melted oil or anything like that. It really needs to be shortening like this, where it's not melted. You don't want this melted. Okay, so it needs to be cold. Or room temperature, I should say. It needs to be at least room temperature. Don't let it melt. Otherwise, it won't combine with your flour right. You'll find it to be pretty wet flour. You don't want that wet crust. You don't really want that wet crust. So it's your 3rd cup. Okay. Put that in there. And then a tablespoon. So a 3rd cup plus a tablespoon. Now, a deep dish pie is bigger than a regular pie shell. So when I make like strawberry pie, I put a lot of strawberries in it. I mean, it takes almost 4 pounds of strawberries to make my strawberry pie. And if you want to see that video, I should be posting that soon. Because pretty much after I get done making this, I'm going to make me a strawberry pie. It's my husband's birthday, so he always likes strawberry pie, so I'm going to go ahead and make him a strawberry pie with this crust. So, that was 1/3 cup. And let's see, we have another tablespoon. So I'm just going to stick that in there and just use my finger and just scoop it out. There we go. Okay. 1/3 cup plus a tablespoon. Shortening. Now we've got, also have while I'm doing that, I'm just going to head and break this up a little bit. Get this to be like a cookie crumble kind of, sort of. I want that shortening to just, right now it's stuck in my, whisk, but it'll be all right. Just gonna keep breaking it up. And if you have a blender, or not blender, but if you have a mixer, you can do this with the mixer. It'll get it nice and crumbly. Okay, but if you're using a mixer, you do not want to add the wet ingredients in with the mixer, okay? Because the less you do to this flour, the better, okay? When you're adding water products, anything with liquid, okay? So you want it to be flaky. In order to get that flaky crust that just breaks apart, you definitely don't want to keep mixing it with the water products, because that's basically going to make that stretchy dough, and you don't want it to be a stretchy dough. You want it to be flaky, not stretchy. That does matter. Okay, so if you can see that in there, it's like a cookie crumble. That's what you want. And then we're going to add the rest of our wet ingredients, which is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, that's optional. You don't have to add it in there. It just depends on what you're making. But for my strawberry pie, I like to add a little bit of vanilla. And let's see what else we got here. 1/2 cup of water. Now, let's see, 1/2 cup of water. I'll get my other measuring cup out here. Half cup of water. But before I do that, before I add my 1/2 cup of water, I like to add a tablespoon of my apple cider vinegar. This too is optional. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It's okay to make it without it. Just gives it a little bit of a zing, and I don't know if you can really taste the vinegar. You can't really taste the vinegar, but it kind of like mellows everything out. So you might want to try that. So this will be 1/2 tablespoon. 1/2 tablespoon. Okay, I'm going to add that to this. And 1/2 tablespoon apple cider vinegar. And the rest I'm going to add up with water until it fills up to 1/2 cup. Okay? 1/2 cup of water. Just like that. Okay, we have our 1/2 cup of water with our vinegar solution inside of it. I'm just going to give this a quick stir because we added that vanilla extract in there. Okay, then the last one you want to add is going to be the water. Okay, so we are going to lightly put that in there. And I'm just gonna take my fork and I'm just gonna fluff it with a fork. Just want to get some water to be it combined. Now it's gonna look not dough form because it's gonna be clumps. It's gonna be all in clumps. But you want it to look clumpy. You want it to be that way. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to mix it. Try to get most of that dry to clump up. You want it clumps. Okay, now that's looking really, really good. It's nice and clumpy. Got a little bit of powder in the bottom, and that's okay because we're going to combine all of that together. Okay. All right. That's how you want it to look. You don't want it to be a dough yet. Okay, the dough is going to form when we put it on our wax paper. You'll see in a minute. I'll show you. This is what it looks like before we put it on there. Okay, so I'm going to move stuff out the way. Get my wax paper out. And I'm going to use 2 sheets of wax paper, one to put it on and one to help roll it out. I don't want it to be a mess. So I'm going to get 2 sheets, about the same size. And the trick about that is you want to have a wet cloth. You want to have a wet washcloth, and you want to just go ahead and wipe your counter down. Wipe the counter down because you want the wax paper to stick on the counter so it doesn't move. See, that'll help it. You don't want it to move around. So I'm going to go ahead and pour out all my dough. Okay, I'm just going to press it down. Just press and press and press. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and roll up the sides into a nice little ball. And I'm just going to press. We're not mixing. We're not rolling it out per se. We're trying to create this little disc, basically. And we use all the water that we put in there, and we just want it to combine. We don't want it to stretch that dough. Just make sure it all combines. Okay. And I'm just making sure it turns into a ball. That's all I'm doing. Nice. Nice ball. Okay. I'm going to re-wet this counter down. Okay. Pull this back out. Gee, some of it is actually not combined together. Just going to push that together with that water. And it is a little dry. Probably a little bit more drier than I thought it was going to be. Maybe it's because the weather. I don't know. But I'm really not liking how that is. So I am going to add just a tad bit more water to it because I want it to combine. Oh. My cooking ware is kind of coming apart here. I don't want to get dirty, but this thing keeps coming down. I don't really know why. Fix that here. Okay. Give me a little bit more water. Probably, I'm just going to put a little tablespoon, half a tablespoon more, just to kind of see if I can get it to form into a ball. A little goes a long way. So try that again. Try it again. It depends on the moisture that you have in your house, but it should all just come together in a big ball. And that's all you need it to do. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and flatten it down a little bit. And it's okay that it's a little bit crumbly. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to roll it all out and it'll be just fine. So again, I think I'm going to wet this down. Oops. Move this out the way. Give me a new piece of paper because it looks like I tore it. So I'm just going to put my other paper down. Put my dough on this one since it tore. Okay. Put it back together. That's fine. Get another piece of paper out. Okay. Smash it down. It's just easier. And I've got my rolling pin now. I'm going to use that and roll it out to my desired size. And grab my deep dish pie pan. Okay, there we go. Now, if you don't know what a deep dish one is, see how deep this part of it is? It's a lot deeper than a regular pie shell. Okay. Set that to the side. Go ahead and roll this out. Push some of this together. Okay, get it all the way out. Left and right. Basically, I'm looking for the size of my wax paper. So about the edge of the wax paper, just roll it out to the edge of the wax paper. If some of it comes out, that's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Just kind of move it so it doesn't go onto the floor here. And then we'll spread it out. Okay. You want it all to be the same thickness. So you're going to have to eyeball what you got. Okay. You'll be able to see how thick you got it because you want to roll it out to where it's going to give you extra over the sides of the pan. See how I have this extra here? You want it to be like that. So when you put it in because it's deep, you're going to be using that excess to go inside the glass dish. So at least if you can see how far I have it here from the pan. Okay. That's good. Okay, that's good enough for me. I'm going to grab some pan and a paper towel. I'm just going to spray my pie shell, my pie pan, a little bit of Pam, and I'm going to do this just to make sure it doesn't stick. You don't want to just leave the Pam in there. You'd want to take a towel and you want to just lightly brush it in there. Too much Pam will make your pie shell shrink. So that's why I use this little bit of paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to take off my wax paper. Good. Move this stuff out the way, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on top. I'm going to go underneath the wax paper. And we're just going to give it a quick flip. I'm just going to fold it all in there. Move it all. You want to kind of just lift it and press into the dish. Okay, you want to make sure it is in the dish before you take off the wax paper. Now, if you don't do this, like I said, it will shrink. So you don't want it to shrink up. So push as much pie shell as you can down in there. You know, to get it to go all the way around. And then you can pull it off. Some areas are more wet than others, which is okay because we did add a little bit of extra moisture. Okay, I'm just going to go to the sides and make sure it's all pressed inside there. Okay. Looks like I'm missing a little bit over this side, which is fine. We'll just add a little extra there. Okay, and then you just want to kind of pinch up around the edges. Pinch it, give it a good pinch up. Kind of like a little heel. I like to do this. I just like to have a little bit of a heel on there. Because I'm going to use my decorative spoon, basically, and use that to make the edging here. Okay, so I'm going to take my decorative spoon, and I'm going to go around. Now, this one's like a little, I don't know if you can really see that, but there's like little curved edges on it. A grapefruit spoon. But that's what I use, and I just kind of give it a little pinch around. Instead of using a fork, you could use a fork. You could use your fingers and pinch it in there. But I like this old-fashioned look. You know, kind of, it just reminds me of, you know, just my granny pie. There we go. Just keep going all the way around. Just quick pinch. I mean, the pie is good, but it's so good to have a nice crust with it. Just completes the pie. And I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to poke that in there. The reason why we do this is so that when it cooks, it doesn't bubble up. And you don't want it to have such a seal on the pie to where it just uneven. You have one of them's all the way up here and the other one's down here. So you want the crust to cook evenly. Okay, and I'm just going to go around the edging and kind of just get rid of this excess. And see how it's just falling apart off of here anyway. That's how you know you have good crust. It's going to be excellent. Stuff you get at the store, it's really hard. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just not the same. And you can tell the difference because you're cooking and making it yourself, to where if you know, when you buy them from the store, you can really tell the difference. It tastes so much better when you're doing it by hand. And you can see it's not that hard to make. It goes pretty quickly. Of course, I'm talking, so I'm not going as quickly as I normally have it. Okay. Just tap the tops down a little bit. And there you have your pie. Now, if you're cooking like if you were making pumpkin pie, you're going to cook the whole pie together, so you don't need to cook it beforehand. basically I'm gonna for strawberry pie. I'm not cooking the strawberries. I'm cooking just the crust. So in here, I'll put it in the oven. I'm gonna put it in there for 25 minutes and let that cook, and then take it out and let it cool down before I do anything with it. But here you have your deep dish pie shell, and it's really that easy and that quick. I hope you learned something today. If you're wanting to make a strawberry pie, just check out my video for strawberry pie, and it should have both the pie shell and the filling basically on listed down below. Here I'm just going to put this online for just making a straight up deep dish pie shell. You can freeze these. Um, Go ahead and take it, put it in the freezer, let it freeze right away before you take it out of the pie shell, out of the pie dish. Or you can get those tinfoil pans and you can put them in a tinfoil pan and do that way. But since I can't really find the deep dish pie shells, so I could just freeze this alone. But I just like to make it fresh when I do it anyway, so I don't really freeze anything. But you are capable of freezing it if you like. Okay, let me go ahead and stick this in the oven because I'm going to go ahead and after this, I'm going to go ahead and start making my strawberry pie. But I hope you enjoyed this today and you learned something new today. And thanks for watching. Love you guys.